guys, welcome
Appreciate it.
back to the Fighter's Eyes podcast. Today's
What's
guest
going
is
on?
6-6 BKFC fighter Elvin Brito. How are you today, sir?
Doing great, bro. It's just, another beautiful day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, I live out here. Yeah.
Damn, bro. I love to live in Puerto Rico, man. I'm in Florida.
Yeah, no, yeah, I lived in Florida for a long time, but it's nothing beats it out here, man. I kind of just took all my stuff, moved everything out here, and just started out here over. It's a little bit different. It's a different
Yeah.
life. It's a different struggle. You're struggling everywhere where you're at, though. It's a
What
change
was
of venue though, and it's totally worth it for me. I love the lifestyle. Like I said, I was telling earlier, I got animals and stuff like that, chickens and
yeah.
ducks and goats and cows, and they keep me busy and honest and on it, and it's just life always hits you with curveballs. You always gotta stay on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. What was the reason you moved out to Puerto Rico? Just new environment?
I'm from here.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
from Monabo, and I always wanted to come back, man. And after Maria, I was like, I'm going back to Puerto Rico. So I just decided to. And then when I started fighting BKFC, it gave me an opportunity to move back. So I took, I fought a couple of times at BKFC and took that money and moved back to Puerto Rico. So BKFC's made it possible for me to move back. And they gave me it's been a really fun journey
Yeah.
with BKFC. So
Yeah, I know you trained. I know you're friends with my homeboy Roman. I don't know his last name, but I
yeah,
think
Roman, yeah, Roman, Vitrino or something. Something.
yeah, yeah. Shout
Yeah,
out.
no, no, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
He's out here helping us all the time.
Yeah, because I
He's a
know
good people.
I think Frank came out and got work with y'all. Frank
Yeah,
Solomon.
Frank, we got all types of guys that come out here with us all the time. We're kind of known for we're kind of specialists in bare knuckle, but we got guys all from all over the place that come out here and train with us. Lorenzo comes and trains with us all the time. We got all types of champions come out here. I can go down the list, but we had a whole bunch of guys come out here. I've been doing bare knuckle since BKFC 3. So, uh, we've had the luxury of making a starting in the sport and making an impact in the sport. So it's
Yeah,
been fun. You know.
yeah, because I think like a month ago, Roman and Frank were going back and forth like in our group chat about Frank going out there getting work with y'all, and I was like, hold on, I'm 18 now. Let me come with y'all. So
Hey, maybe next time. Maybe next time you can come out here. We'll
I was
do
like, yeah,
yeah, on-site reporting. It'll be
yeah,
fun.
me and you could get somewhere. Who knows? Who knows? I
Hey,
know.
let's do it. I'm down.
I mean, I know how to box.
All right, yeah. Everybody, I mean, Puerto Rico is like everywhere you go is good boxers. You
Yeah.
you pick up a rock, there's a good boxer underneath there. So it's like it's a good place to come box. I got he had a lot of fun out here with us. So Frankie had fun. He wanted to come back. He's already talking about wanting to live out here. He's like, I want to go live in Puerto Rico. So, it, and we actually got some really good work in while he was here. We were doing Lorenzo's training camp. Unfortunately, he
Hmm.
got hurt during the training camp. So it's just things that happen. You kind of go with the flow. You really can't resist too much and stuff like that happens because what else can you do but just move on, heal up and move on, We've all
Yeah.
kind of been dealing with stuff. Everybody's kind of been dealing with stuff this year. So I was hoping to fight earlier, but things just didn't work out. And now it's like a perfect time. Everything's kind of culminating for it's a perfect time. August 2nd is going to be a really awesome time for me to make my return back in the cage. I'm going to be healthy and ready to go. No excuses. It's going to be awesome, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting Jeremiah Scott August 2nd. I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I've never watched like a full. I've watched like the highlights of BKFC.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to find it, and then I have the Thriller, like the Thriller app.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, bro, there's no way I have the app where you can watch it, and I just never realized. So I was like, damn, you know what? August 2nd, you fighting. That's gonna be the first card I watch. I hope I don't have to
Uh,
buy it, but
no, no, man. Bare knuckle is. I come from boxing into MMA,
hmm
back to bare knuckle, and like, I've done it all. I got a Kodokan judo brown belt. I got a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and there's nothing like bare knuckle. Everything's kind of boring after doing bare knuckle for a
yeah,
while.
but
Bare knuckle is just that doesn't give you a chance to get. It's just a different feeling, especially when you're in person. It's
mhm.
just It's very primal, very it's a fight. It's different. It's especially MMA now has become almost like an athletic endeavor. It's not just they're not necessarily fighting. Like the best fighter
Hmm.
doesn't always necessarily win, and you could really you could use your athleticism to get through fights. Where in bare knuckle, really, if somebody's better than you, your athleticism is not really gonna
Yep.
help you in a 10 minute fight. It's just a different kind of fight. It's more primal. It's more of a fight. There's no going anywhere. It's just there's no lulls in the action. And man, it's just even a mid card fight is more exciting sometimes than mid cards in the UFC. And not to hate in the UFC. And I love mixed martial arts. It's really hard to do it. It takes a lot of discipline and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but it's just nothing beats a bare knuckle fight.
What are your thoughts on Bryce Hall, the TikTok kid being in bare knuckle?
Well, Bryce trained with Lorenzo, and I never got a chance to train with him. But I asked him, I was like, hey, what's up with this before he did his fight? Uh And I was like, hey, what's up with this kid? And he's like, man, he's tough. He's like, he's the real deal. And I haven't really heard anything bad from Bryce. I met him. He seems like a pretty legitimate dude, like, a pretty authentic dude. And he obviously put in a good Lorenzo's not gonna sugarcoat stuff for you. So Lorenzo says he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker, and he showed that he was a hard worker. He fought G in the fight. I don't know if he's fought again. Um, but
No, I
he
don't
showed
think Bryce has fought again. No.
no, but it's hard to fight in that stage, and against a guy like G, even though G was a lot smaller than him.
Hmm.
And the fight did end up in a weird way where there was a dislocation, but he did show a lot of heart. He took some shots. He went in there and he really showed that he wants to be
Yep.
in there. So I definitely got to give it to him. I met him in person. I like him.
Yeah, I know someone called him out. I believe like 2 weeks ago, someone called him out right after they won. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
he was supposed to fight with Kimbo Slice Jr. or something like that.
yeah.
That would have
I
been
was like,
interesting.
dude, I want to see Bryce in BKFC again. I think he's pretty. I think he's
I
not
think it'd be
bad.
fun. Bare Knuckles. It's all about characters and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
Bryce is a good character in BKFC. He's gonna bring eyes into the fight, and no matter who they match him up against.
Yeah, I know Jake Paul just fought that big Mike Perry, who is like the face of BKFC. What did you think of that fight? Did you think it was a little weird seeing Mike as like the big star in BKFC go out there and like, lose
Well,
to Jake Paul?
boxing is just different than bare knuckle, and boxing is different. And like I said, it's just a different kind of fight. And it was, uh, well, he's a great bare knuckle fighter, but he's not a boxer. It's just a different set of skills it takes
Hmm.
to be a bare knuckle fighter, and some of the stuff that works real good for bare knuckle doesn't work well for boxing. It's the same
Yep.
way in boxing. A lot of guys come into bare knuckle. There's been several world champions that have come into bare knuckle and lost to like regular guys because it's just not the same thing. So it's understandable, honestly, from a fighter's perspective. It's kind of shocking for the fans. They're like, whoa, Mike face up, but it's a different sport, and those guys they train, they're rich, they get to train all day, and it's they're serious competition. You know.
So have you gotten any work with Jake? I know Roman
No, I
got
never got to work personally with him. No, that'd be fun
uh
though.
is that you think that'd be cool?
Yeah, that'd be
Would you
fun. I spar with everybody, and I work with
Yeah,
everybody. Like I'm really down to, I actually like going with bigger guys. I
yeah, he's
spar with a
big.
lot of bigger guys. Not now that I'm fighting at 155 again. I've been going with smaller, faster guys. Been focusing on my speed and tidying up a little bit. It's
Yeah.
a different fight at 155 than at 165. Um, but it's gonna be fun coming to 155, and we'll bring the power that I kind of
Hmm.
developed in 165. So, but yeah, it'd be great. I'm down. I would love. We almost had an opportunity to train, but shit happens.
Yeah. What do you make of him saying he'd fight or he'd rematch Mike Perry in BKFC? How do you think that goes?
That'd be an interesting fight. I mean, I would like to see it just because I like watching, interesting fights like that, and that would put a lot of eyes in BKFC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Jake Paul's number one fan, so obviously, I love,
How you like Jake Paul?
I love
Jake
Jake
Paul,
Paul.
hey man, Jake Paul, he's actually very liked in Puerto Rico. You know,
Really?
he's actually very liked
Yeah,
in Puerto Rico. Well, at least on the ground. Maybe in the media is different, but on the ground, he's worked with a lot of people on the ground. A lot of people like Jake Paul. The fighters definitely
that's
like him. He's helped a lot of fighters. I've went to a lot of gyms that he's helped with, and he's got a pretty good reputation amongst the fight
yep.
community out here.
Yeah. Do you think it's a good idea for him to go bare knuckle, or you think he should just stick with boxing?
Hey man, those guys, it's different. Like I said, those guys are rich. They fight because they want to. Like, if you want to do bare knuckle, I mean, he's only doing us a favor, is spotlighting the sport. And
That's true. Yep.
so it's like, why not? I mean, he doesn't have anything to lose. Just gain more fans, and it's more another chip on his belt. Another notch to put on there that he did something else. Those guys, they've came into fighting, and they've made a lot of noise.
Hmm.
They've done a lot of stuff. We got Puerto Rican fighters that fight for him. Amanda Serrano fights for him. And he's done stuff. They've done shows in Puerto Rico. So
Yep.
I'm all right with
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm
true.
totally okay with those guys. I don't. It's not like I think highly of them or anything. Like I'm like, whoa, but it's like they're not bad for the sport. They're good for the sport. They're good for the fighters. They've done. They really
Hmm.
haven't done. The only thing that people could argue is that they've made a mockery of the sport, or because they've like you know it's like a blaspheme the purity of boxing or something like that. It's just that Puritan old school mentality. But fighting is all about entertainment. So
Yep.
if you're getting if you're getting everybody to watch the fights, if you get people invested into the story, and you're getting people to watch the fights, and people
You're
are
making
excited to
money.
watch the fights, how are you making a mockery of the sport? Yes, it's different, but it's not. The times change. There's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with changing with the times, and that's what a lot of people are stuck. In what their idealized version of what things should be, but the world doesn't stop for anybody.
That's true. It's true. But let's get back to you because you are the guest.
No
I
problem.
know. I know you. You are a former bare knuckle champion. I believe it was for the vacant lightweight title. I believe like 2 or 3 years ago. It was a while ago.
I fought for the welterweight belt against
Oh, that
Caleb
was the
Harris.
welter.
Yeah, it was
Oh, it
inaugural,
said,
inaugural, yeah, inaugural welterweight belt. I fought in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Tapology needs to change that because it said
yeah.
vacant lightweight. But
Well, that's
obviously,
because it was vacant because it was the inaugural belt.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
But
but it was welterweight. Yeah.
what did it mean to you to get that win, get the belt wrapped around your waist? Because there is a viral photo of your face pretty beaten up after that fight, pretty swollen under your eyes. What was the emotions like when you got
No, it
that
was
belt?
great, man. It was an awesome accomplishment, man. And that whole training camp was like, we were everything kind of came together, you
Hmm.
know, and it really the whole thing was kind of an experience. We had an awesome team, all-star team, and we got I think like it was like 6 weeks of serious, like 6, 7, 8 week training camp, solid training camp, and everything came together perfectly. And as soon as the bell rang, you know, and I got hit, I already knew I was gonna win. It was just we worked all the way up to it, and I really wasn't thinking much of it because when we fight, we just fight to prove that we are as good as we think we are in our mind. So I
Hmm.
wasn't really thinking about making history or that we're gonna be the first welterweight champion. I'll be the first Puerto Rican champion in bare knuckle ever. Um, it wasn't until afterwards that we're like, oh yeah, we made history. I was like, oh yeah, we did. But I love fighting, and that was like the combination of my work in bare knuckle. We're still not done. We're not like I'm I'm 6-6, but I'm the kind of fighter that I'm always 2, 3 wins away from a title shot. So I'm
Hmm.
coming down to 155. Um, it's gonna be a little bit different, and it'll be another run for a title. Obviously, I'm not coming just to one and done. I'm okay with going back to 165, but while I'm at 155, I'm gonna be trying to fight for the belt.
Yep.
You know,
Do you have like a guy you want next after Jeremiah Scott if you were to get the win, or you focus just on Jeremiah?
and there's so many guys to fight. You know,
Hmm.
there's so many guys to fight. But I'm just focused one fight at a time.
Yep.
Jeremiah Scott's the guy. And he's the guy who took that fight. It was really hard for me to get an opponent. I had my opponent changed 4 times,
Wow.
and Jeremiah Scott was the
Jeez.
guy that took. Yeah, I'm thankful that he took the fight. Um, I know what he's trying to do, and I respect it. But it's not going to change anything when
Yes,
we're
sir.
getting a circle. That respect's not going to mean anything, and I will remember that he thought he could beat me. And I'm going to make him pay for it.
Do you have a official prediction? Jeez. Do you think you can stop him, or are you like this could be
Oh
all right?
man, this guy's really tough. And he always gets back up. He gets touched a lot. He always gets back up. But I'm gonna touch you, and I'm not gonna get tired of touching you. I really think it's bare knuckle. It's a different kind of sport. Doesn't matter how tough you are.
Yep.
You know, um, I want to make sure he doesn't make it past second or third round. I want to finish. I don't win decisions, so I don't plan on winning a decision. I don't go out there to fight a decision. I want to go finish. So I plan on finishing him. I know he's not gonna lay down for me, so I'm gonna make sure I make him lay down.
Yes, sir.
Lay down. Yeah.
I feel like that has to be everybody's
Yeah.
mindset, especially in BKFC, because it's bare knuckle. It's not like
Anything can
no
happen.
glove. It's you get hit once, your eyes bleeding immediately with
Yeah,
those bare
anything can
knuckles.
happen. But bare knuckle
Violent.
is very unpredictable. So wow, it's a mad, it's a mad sport. It's a mad game that we play. Anything could happen, and nothing's guaranteed. The better fighter doesn't always even win. Anything could happen during the fight.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
so you can't take anything for granted. I don't take this guy for granted. I know he's coming to win, but I know I'm better than him. I know that I've invested more time into the sport than him. I know that I still have a trajectory in front of me, not just behind me. And he's gonna be my foothold in the
Hmm.
155 division, and then and it's gonna be my announcement that I'm here. I want to make sure it's loud and it's entertaining and fun, like I always do it. I want to make it look fun, and I'm gonna be ready for whatever whoever is theirs. Believe it or not, even though I'm 66, I'm not. It's not easy to find me opponents.
Yep.
Nobody's excited to fight me. you know,
Yeah.
uh, but I'll be ready to fight whoever next. It'll be fun to see who wants to fight me. More
Yeah.
than anything is who wants to fight me. This time is Jeremiah Scott. I'll make sure I make him pay for even thinking that he could beat me or that he should be in that ring with me. And then we're moving on to the next thing. I'm really hoping we can get one more fight in before the end of the year. I want to stay busy. Um, and I'll take whatever's in front of me. You know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you just said it's hard to get your opponents, but the sport is growing pretty rapidly. I mean, we're
And then
always having new.
155, it's there's more guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like the how big BKFC has grown recently, and do you think it could outgrow, in terms of like hype and people wanting to watch like maybe the UFC or boxing eventually, you could outgrow the hype for it?
It could. There's a lot of different changes that have to go on within the company and without and it's the environment that's created and the narrative that's presented.
Hmm.
But the product, I mean, it's undeniable.
Yep.
Bare knuckle fights are the most exciting fights there are.
100%. Yep.
A high level bare knuckle fight, man. Like there's no other sport that's gonna give you the excitement of a high level bare knuckle fight. It's just there's nothing like it, especially
Hmm.
live. So the potential is there for it to be like for a long time it was the epitome of like it was the highest. It was regarded as a sport bare knuckle, as a pinnacle, of just toughest dudes in the world. So the
Yep.
best fighters in the world. So I think that could that potential is still there, where bare knuckle fighters could be the best fighters in the world and the fights that people are more excited to see than anything else. There's space for everything, though.
Yep.
No,
I mean,
I love mixed martial arts.
yep.
But I think bare knuckle is easier to understand. It's universal language. You know who's winning. You know who's losing. And I said it's really easy to package and sell.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think when it comes to the knockouts, I think bare knuckle probably has the most amount of views on Instagram there is when it comes to combat sports. I saw that
Yeah,
one Instagram reel like a month or two ago when that one guy fell straight back stiff into the ropes. I don't know if
yeah.
you know which one I'm talking about, but
There's
yeah,
so many
that
of those. I mean, my first knockout was the guy went stiff. I thought they were gonna use that video every time.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, geez, like that's not something I would do. Like I made a joke to my mom. I was like,
yeah.
Mom, I might do bare knuckle boxing. And she was like, hell no,
It's just
you're
something.
not
The impact.
never.
The dynamics of because there's no padding. Even the little 4-ounce gloves. Like when you take the padding off, like the dynamics of the impact is so
It
different. The
changes. Yep,
nerves you could crush and sever the nerves on your face. Um, you can get touched. You can get bones broken. You can break your
yep.
hands. It's scary. It's really scary. And um as hard as it is and as scary as it could be, there's guys like me that flourish in the sport. This is some people are just made for it. This is definitely one of those sports where you're either made for it or you're not. You could be a great MMA fighter, you could be a great boxer, but it takes a certain breed of fighter to be a bare knuckle fighter and go through that very steadfast psychological barrier that you have to cross to be a bare knuckle fighter and to be a contender, to be a champion. You have to be willing to give it all in there.
Mhm. Yeah, like what are your thoughts on Conor McGregor being like one of like the co-owners of BKFC? Do you think that just brings more eyes
More
to
eyes,
the?
yeah, man. I would love to fight McGregor too. It'd be awesome. I would love to fight him. I'd love to bring him into the sport.
You
Yeah.
should ask him. You should ask him.
Oh
See,
yeah, I
like
know. After I win this fight, we'll work something out. He needs an easy fight to get in there. Kind of get comfortable.
I was gonna say you versus Thiago Alves.
Oh yeah, I would love to fight Elvis, man. There's so many potential matchups, and I'm still healthy. Like I've been doing bare knuckle since 2018, but I
Hmm.
have a great style, sustainable style that we've been working. My style is constantly changing. Right now I'm making some compromises for my next fight, and I want to keep being an elusive fighter while putting on some serious punishment.
Yeah,
And like I said you know, I feel like I got plenty of fight left, so I'm really looking forward you know to the future.
yeah. I mean, I got to. Yeah, I mean, it's scary. Like, I forget. Someone one BKFC fighter said that they did one BKFC fight and then thought they were never gonna do it again because they got some head injury. But I was
Yeah,
like, dude, that's after one fight. It's like one punch could change your life, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I got to knock out my first fight, and
Yeah,
I got to knock out the night. And like, you gonna do it again? I'm like, I don't know about this, man. It was just,
yeah.
it was, it was crazy. It was just so different, and people were getting some of the worst injuries I ever seen in any fight sport. I saw
Bare
the
knuckle.
first day that I fought bare knuckle. I was
Oh
like, holy
wow.
crap! Like, what the hell did we get into? They
Yeah.
ran out of stitches. BKFC 3, they ran out of stitches.
Oh
It was
wow.
it was that bad, and it was so traumatic. It's like every time you fight, it's like your PTSD every time after a fight. It really is a traumatic experience, and it takes this. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this again. I don't even.
Yeah.
When I first did my first bare knuckle fight, I didn't even want people to find out what I was doing. I felt like I was doing something dirty.
Yeah.
um, but after my second fight, I was like, man, I really love this sport. I fought again the third fight, and it's just after that, it just became something that I really fell in love with the sport. It is for me, and as hard as the sport is, and as as demanding as it is, it's like it's easy for me.
Yep.
It's easy
What
for
do
me.
you
I got 6 losses, but they're all decisions. I got caught early in one of my fights in my second bare knuckle fight, but like I'm not. I don't usually walk away hurt from my fight. Usually, you win or lose, it's almost guaranteed when you fight me, I'm gonna hurt you really bad.
Mhm.
You know, um, but I've done a good job of of keeping my health, in this sport and showing that it is sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have had 12 bare knuckle fights, and not a lot of bare knuckle fighters are getting to that 12 fight. They either do a couple and then they retire, or like
It's
whatever, or
hard.
they get. Yeah, like what do you feel your proudest moment of your bare knuckle career is?
Oh man, every win, every win, you know, is important to me, But winning the title was a big deal,
Yep.
and we showed that we are champions, and like I said, being in this sport for as long as I have, my last fight was probably my worst performance that I had, but it is because it was a fight that I rushed. I should have never went to fight. 12 days before the fight, I got diagnosed with mycoplasma and shingles,
Oh,
and I didn't stay home. I just took the medicine and tried to recover as much as I could. And I went over there and
yep.
fought. I fought a good fight, but I thought it was gonna be a hard fight. I thought it was gonna be. I thought we were gonna be dog it. We were gonna dog it out.
Hmm.
And I went out there. I hit Corden off, knocked his teeth out, and he started running, man. And he just caught me completely off guard. Like I just didn't expect him to run, and I just wasn't ready to come after him. It ended up being, kind of a lackluster fight, and I I I want to. I didn't get hurt that fight, and it sucked losing because I just couldn't perform the way I wanted to after all
Hmm.
that work. But like, all I want to do is get in here and kind of make up for that last fight and show how good I really am and show BKFC that, you know, I'm not going anywhere.
Is that a fight you would want to run back in the future?
Oh man, I would love to fight Kornov again. I would love to fight Jake Lindsay again.
Yeah.
those are two fights that like, man, I felt that I was better than those guys, but like the situation, and I'm not taking anything away from them. Jake Lindsay's an awesome fighter. Kornov, he played it smart. He fought to a decision. Like that
Hmm.
that was his plan. Which wasn't it's not a bad idea against me because I'm not known for winning. Being favored in decisions. But like you're never gonna be a champion like that. You gotta be able to put it on the line to be a champion. So it's like
Yep.
he won, but he survived to a win. Jake Lindsay, it was different. I got hurt in that fight. It was rough going to that fight, but I got my teeth knocked out with a new mouthpiece in the beginning of the fight. Changed the fight. Jake was on it that day. I pushed all the way through the fight, but it didn't go the way that I wanted.
Hmm.
We put on a great fight, but I wasn't able to perform the way I wanted to perform.
Yep.
Same thing, my last fight, I should have just stayed my ass home, but I went out there thinking it wasn't going to make a difference, and it did. So it's just kind of left me with this like feeling like, damn, and
That night just like wasn't your best performance.
yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't my best performance, but
Yeah.
so uh, a lot of people see that and they're like, oh, they might think I'm done, but you know, the ones that know me, the ones that train with me, the ones that follow me, they're not gonna be shocked.
Hmm.
But there's probably gonna be a lot of people shocked to see what I'm gonna do to Scott on the August 2nd.
Yep.
But if you know me, if you know how I am and how I train and how I fight, then it should be no surprise what's gonna happen
Yes,
when I
sir. I
fuck
mean,
this dude
man.
up.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. We can wrap it up with one more question because I don't want to take too much of your time.
Yeah.
But what message do you have for all your fans and your supporters that have followed you throughout your career from the MMA to now the BKFC? Like, what can we expect from you in the rest of 2025, both inside and outside the BKFC
Oh,
ring?
oh man, I had guys that have been following me since the beginning, and I'm
Hmm.
thankful. It's been a long journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs, you know. Um, but we're still here competing at the highest level.
Yes, sir.
And there's still fights to be done. So, guys, there's plenty of reason to be excited, and I'm gonna make sure the excitement is for a reason, and we're gonna prove to them once again, that there's El
Hmm.
Bandito for a long time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. I appreciate your time. I know, we had to schedule it a couple different times. We had to work it out, work it out. But we
Yeah, it's
finally
no
got
big
it
deal.
done.
Yeah, I
Finally got it
appreciate it, man.
done.
Hopefully, I didn't bore you too much. I've been
No,
working a
man.
lot this week, man. It's
I
been
appreciate you, man.
yeah, but I'm looking forward to this fight, man. Like my
Yeah.
last fight, I didn't get to be myself, you
Yes, sir.
know. Um, because I was more worried about just making it there. It was like the worst training camp I ever had
Yeah.
because I was just struggling just to make it. And but this fight, I could just be myself. I could have the confidence that I know I have. I could, I could talk shit if I feel like it. I could be nice if I have to. But I know when I get there, I don't have to be nice. Once I
Hmm.
get to the fights, I don't have to be nice no more. I don't have to be polite. All I gotta do is do what I do best.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roman told me he was like, I did like a questionnaire, like who y'all want to see me interview next, and Roman was like, you need to get Elvin Brito on, and I was like, all right, bet, like, let me shoot my shot on my story, and then when you,
Nah, man, that's cool. Roman's like, that's one of my guys. I was like, all right, I'll do an interview with him.
yeah, I was like, and then I seen you repost it and stuff. I was like, boys, we got him, like,
No,
we
I
gonna do it.
appreciate it, man. This is actually the first interview I've done in a long time. Like we've been like
Oh wow.
a lot of people, fighting is crazy. And we were just talking about how scary it is, like, oh, I wouldn't
Hmm.
do this, but like as crazy as it sounds, like especially with fighters like me, I know a lot of fighters can relate to what I'm saying is like fighting is like that's our safe place. Like that's our as
Hmm.
crazy as it fighting is, everything's real certain and
Yeah.
it's chaotic, but it's all organized. And life is simple in the ring. It's
Hmm.
life is simple in the ring. It's life that hits you with a whole bunch of crazy stuff that you never expected. It doesn't matter whether you're doing good or not, or you're bad or good, or it doesn't matter. It's just the calamity strikes everybody the same, and death doesn't pardon anybody, and it rains on the good and the bad alike. And we've been dealing with a lot of stuff like that this year.
Hmm.
Plenty of reasons to be upset, but I'm still thankful that we're here, and yeah, we're still pushing that out of the way so we can get to like the easy
Hmm.
part, which is just being in the ring. But like fight a lot of fighters, a lot of people don't. They only see us in the ring,
Yeah.
but like we still have to get through life to get there. Like just
Hmm.
like you know, people just like anybody else, we're still people, we still have to deal with everyday life and we still have
Yeah.
to overcome all the challenges that come our way. And usually the challenges that we face in life are a lot harder than
Yeah.
than those 10 minutes that we're in there and that we've worked so hard for to be in there. For
Yeah, I've heard a lot of fighters say that the fighting is the easy part, but like the media and the
yeah.
recovery stuff is the harder part, which I find
Recovering and
interesting.
stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
married. I've been married for 16 years. I got kids, I got animals, I got stuff to take care of. I got people depending on me, I got a team, I got people that come out here and train with me. So it's like you know, I have all these things that I have to take care of, on
Hmm.
top of and that's just the regular basic life to life stuff. And that's nothing to complain about. That's things to be happy about. But life always
Hmm.
hits you with you know, accidents or somebody gets injured or, somebody dies or somebody gets hurt or somebody gets sick. And there's things that you really can't prepare for no matter how prepared you are for. And all you could do is just, you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep living. You can't give up. Like a lot of people, it's so easy to give up. Like giving up is always, I always tell the fighters, I'm like, you could always give up, you know,
Hmm.
giving up is an option. Like most people, they die in their 20s and they get buried in their 60s and 80s, but like giving up is something that it's easy to do and that most people are willing to do, but
Yes, sir.
to be a fighter, to be a real fighter and to be a champion, you have to be willing to move when everyone is paralyzed, you have to be able to keep moving forward. You know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you.
I was looking forward to this interview a lot, so I'm happy we finally got to make it happen, man.
Thanks, man. Hopefully I didn't disappoint you too much.
No, you didn't, man. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a nice one.
You too.